Nancy was anxious as she entered the animal shelter, looking for a new companion to fill her life with love and care. Energetic puppies ran back and forth, wagging their tails and playing joyfully. However, something in her soul made her look in another direction, toward a quieter and more peaceful corner. There, lying on a simple bed, was Zeus, an elderly dog with gray fur and deep, calm eyes, watching the movement around him serenely. As she approached Zeus's kennel, Nancy felt an instant connection. He didn't stand up or wag his tail with the same energy as the puppies, but his eyes told a story. There was wisdom and sadness in them that Nancy couldn't ignore. Without hesitation, she crouched to talk to the dog, noticing how he observed her with a mixture of curiosity and resignation. As she ran her hand along the kennel bars, a shelter worker, Marta, approached. "This is Zeus," Marta said softly. "He's already 10 years old. He was left here by his family when they moved. They couldn't take him with them." Nancy felt a twinge in her chest. "Has he been here long?" she asked, trying to imagine how anyone could abandon a companion after so many years. "A few months," Marta replied, sighing. "Older dogs rarely get adopted. Most people want puppies." Zeus's eyes now seemed even heavier to Nancy. She knew adopting an older dog would bring challenges, medical care, less time together. But she also knew that those final years could be the most precious for Zeus. Without further doubt, Nancy made a decision. "I'm taking him home," she said firmly. Marta smiled, surprised and touched. "Are you sure? Older dogs can be difficult," she gently warned. "I'm sure. Everyone deserves a second chance, especially him." And so, as the adoption papers were being prepared, Nancy was already imagining the life she and Zeus would have together, eager to give him the love and care he so richly deserved. Nancy and Marta sat in the shelter's office to complete the adoption process. As Marta filled out the paperwork, she began to share more about Zeus's past. "He was with a family since he was a puppy," Marta explained. "They moved to another state and, for some reason, decided they couldn't take him with them. Zeus lived with them for almost his entire life until he became too old and, like many other elderly dogs, ended up here." Nancy felt a pang in her heart hearing Zeus's story. She had always believed that a dog was part of the family forever, and thinking that he had been abandoned after so many years of loyalty deeply troubled her. Zeus had spent the last few months in the shelter, watching many of the younger, more energetic dogs get adopted while he continued to wait silently. "He used to be very active," Marta continued. "Now he's calmer, a bit slower, but still full of love. You'll see, older dogs have a different kind of wisdom and affection. They understand the value of each small moment." Nancy looked at Zeus, who was still across the room, watching her patiently. She knew life with Zeus would be different from having a bouncy puppy, but at that moment it became clear that she wasn't just adopting a dog. She was committing to giving him a dignified, love-filled end to his life, something he clearly deserved after so many years of loyalty. As she signed the papers, Nancy committed to giving Zeus a new life. Although the challenges would be great, she knew the love he still had to offer would be worth it. Zeus may have been abandoned by his previous family, but with Nancy, he would find a new beginning. With the papers signed, Nancy was excited to take Zeus home. She had already bought everything he needed: a soft bed, new bowls, high-quality food, and even a few toys, though she knew he might not play as much as the younger dogs. When it came time to put him in the car, Zeus hesitated. His movements were slow, as if he were afraid to believe that he was really going home. Nancy crouched beside him, gently stroking his gray fur. "It's okay, buddy. We're going home now." With a gentle nudge and a lot of patience, Zeus finally got into the car. On the way home, Nancy glanced at him occasionally through the rearview mirror. He was lying down, seemingly calm, but his eyes were alert, watching the world pass by through the window. She wondered what he was thinking. Did he feel abandoned again? Did he know he was going to a place where he would be loved? Upon arriving home, Nancy opened the car door and Zeus slowly stepped out, his paws touching the ground hesitantly. She guided him through the house, showing him each room as if giving a tour to an old friend. He sniffed the air, taking cautious steps as Nancy watched with affection, hoping he would feel safe. That first night was quiet. Zeus settled into his new bed beside the sofa while Nancy sat down to read. She knew the adjustment might take some time, but gradually Zeus would start to realize that he was in a real home again. Before heading to bed, Nancy knelt by Zeus and stroked him. "You're home now, buddy," she whispered. Zeus lifted his head, and for the first time, wagged his tail gently, as if beginning to understand. The first days in his new home were slow but full of small signs of progress. At first, Zeus spent most of his time in his bed, watching Nancy from a distance. It was as if he was trying to figure out his new reality. Nancy respected his space, but she always approached him, offering affection with gentle touches and kind words. Over time, Zeus began to trust her. He started following Nancy around the house, always with slow, careful steps, as if afraid that everything was just a dream, and that he would wake up back in the shelter. Nancy's patience was essential in this process. She knew she couldn't rush things, and Zeus needed his own time to adjust. The daily walks in the park became an important part of their routine. Though Zeus no longer had the energy to run like before, he loved walking by Nancy's side, feeling the breeze and exploring the scents of the environment. Each step, even slow, was a small victory for him, proof that there was still life to be lived and appreciated. During one of those walks, Zeus surprised Nancy by lying down in the grass and rolling over like a playful puppy. Nancy smiled, seeing that flicker of youth and joy still present in her old friend. These moments, though brief, filled her heart with happiness. She knew that Zeus's journey wouldn't be long, but every little sign of contentment was an invaluable reward. At home, Zeus also began to show signs of greater comfort. He now approached Nancy more often, lying beside her on the sofa as she read or watched TV. There was a tranquility in his presence, as if he had finally found peace. For Nancy, the bond between them grew stronger every day. Their relationship was built on patience and mutual understanding. Zeus didn't ask for much, but everything he gave in return, his quiet loyalty, his grateful gaze, made Nancy feel that adopting him was the best decision she had ever made. Life with Zeus was quiet, but full of small moments of pure joy. Nancy discovered that the real value of adopting an older dog wasn't in grand adventures or endless playtime, but in the simple things, like Zeus snuggling next to her on the couch or wagging his tail, even lightly, when she came home after a long day. These moments were like unexpected gifts. When Zeus, in his slow and cautious way, placed his head on Nancy's lap while she read, or when he lay in the sun in the backyard, his expression one of pure satisfaction, Nancy felt deeply grateful. There was no rush with Zeus, no expectations. There was only the simplicity of enjoying each other's company. The walks in the park became a routine that Nancy and Zeus enjoyed together. Although he couldn't run like other dogs, Zeus took pleasure in every step, every breeze, and every new smell with the serenity of someone who knows how to appreciate the present moment. And Nancy learned from him how to slow down and see the beauty in the small things. At home, Nancy sometimes felt that Zeus was more in tune with her emotions than any other dog she had known. When she was tired or sad, he comforted her with his quiet presence, as if he knew exactly what she needed. The simple act of being by his side, feeling his calm breathing, brought a peace that she hadn't realized she was seeking. Zeus didn't need much to be happy, and Nancy realized that, deep down, neither did she. True joy was found in the small things, in the moments of shared quiet and the silent love that existed between them. Nancy was so impacted by the experience of adopting Zeus that she decided to share his story with others. She started posting pictures of him on social media, showing how he had transformed into her calm and loyal companion. The images depicted Zeus lying on the couch with his eyes closed, wearing an expression of contentment, or walking next to Nancy in the park, enjoying life at a peaceful pace. She also began sharing the story of how Zeus had been abandoned by his previous family, and how, despite all the hardships, he was still capable of love and trust. Her posts started gaining attention, with friends and even strangers being moved by Zeus's journey. Comments began to appear, praising Nancy's actions and finding inspiration in her journey with Zeus. "I never thought about adopting an older dog until I saw Zeus's story," one person commented. Now I'm considering giving a second chance to an older dog at my local shelter." These messages warmed Nancy's heart. She knew that Zeus was not just a dog she had adopted for companionship. He now represented something bigger, the chance to show the world that elderly dogs still have much to offer and that their loyalty, gratitude, and love do not diminish with age. Nancy started to get more involved. As time passed, Zeus started to show signs of aging more evidently. His movements became slower, and his once energetic walks turned into shorter, more gentle strolls. Nancy noticed that his breathing had become more labored, and his eyes no longer sparkled with the same intensity. She knew the inevitable was approaching, and the thought filled her with both sadness and gratitude for the time they had shared. One evening, as Zeus lay on his bed beside the couch, Nancy sat down next to him and gently stroked his fur. She whispered words of love, knowing that their time together was coming to an end. Despite his weakened state, Zeus lifted his head slightly and gazed at her with those same deep, soulful eyes that had captured her heart from the start. His tail wagged weakly, a final gesture of the unbreakable bond between them. When the moment finally came, Nancy held Zeus in her arms as he peacefully passed away. The house felt empty, but Nancy found solace in knowing that she had given Zeus the love and care he deserved in his final years. Though the pain of losing him was overwhelming, she knew that the joy and companionship they had shared would stay with her forever. After Zeus's passing, Nancy found herself reflecting on the transformative experience of adopting an elderly dog. Although the time with Zeus had been shorter than expected, it had been filled with profound love and connection. She knew that Zeus had changed her life in ways she could never have imagined. A few months later, Nancy returned to the same shelter, this time with a new mission. She approached the kennels not looking for a young, lively dog, but once again drawn to the quiet presence of an older dog waiting for a second chance. This time, it was a graying Labrador named Max, who watched her with curious but hopeful eyes. Nancy adopted Max, continuing her journey of offering love to those who had been forgotten. She knew that just like Zeus, Max had much more love to give, and she was ready to offer him a home filled with warmth and care. The story ends with a message of hope and inspiration, encouraging others to consider adopting elderly dogs. Though their time may be shorter, the love they offer is boundless and deeply fulfilling. Nancy's journey showed that second chances can bring the greatest rewards, not only for the dogs, but for the people who choose to open their hearts to them. Did you enjoy the story of Zeus and Nancy? If so, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more heartwarming stories about dog adoption and the incredible bonds we form with our four-legged best friends. If you've adopted an elderly dog or are thinking about adopting, share your experience in the comments below. Let's inspire more people to give second chances to these loyal companions. Activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos full of tips on care, adoption, and touching stories of rescues and canine transformations. Adopt, love, and transform lives. Just like Nancy did with Zeus.